Hello YouTubers! So in my last video I did talk about hoarding what you can. Hoard pennies. Now I'm going to show you how I hoard them. And yes, I am a freaking hoarder. Big time. So let's get right into it. I use old coffee cans, obviously. My wife got me this Jack's Links gift box, I guess. It had cheese and jerky and all kinds of good stuff. But now I use it as my penny storage, and that's only some of them. I use coffee cans. I use any way I can classify different coins into different denominations and different years, whatever. So I'm just gonna kind of show you what I do. And like I said, I'm a bit of a hoarder. Now these are all my throwaways. I've got probably $200 worth of pennies that are just, these ones are the ones I didn't want to keep. And when my kids have a fundraiser or, you know, a penny drive for cancer, I just grab handfuls of this stuff and throw it into a bag and send it off with them to school. Also in their piggy banks, each of my kids have their own piggy bank. I just grab a handful of this stuff, throw it right in there. And these I could take right back to the bank, roll them up, and make my money back, I guess. But I guess my thought process is, as long as these are off the streets, they're not at the bank, then I don't have to worry about them coming up in a penny roll that I go buy from the bank. So I just keep them. Just hold on to them. Let the kids have them, whatever. That way, if I go down to the bank and I'm like, hey, let me get a huge box of pennies, these ones won't be in there. That's good. Now, let me show you what else. Yeah, I'm a hoarder, for sure. So these are just early 2000s that are in decent shape. And I don't know, there could be some new errors or something that show up in these early 2000s that haven't been discovered yet. So I just hand select the ones that I like that look like they're in good condition, and I keep them. And boy, there's $100 worth of early 2000s pennies right there. My gosh, it's actually sickening. Here's another one. These are all pennies from the 1970s, and that's every year from 1970 all the way up to 1979. Hey, if you guys are wanting to buy some pennies or anything, let me know. I've got some. Here's 1980s. These are all 1980 pennies from the year 1980 all the way up to 1989. And we continue. 1990s. It is hard to find 1990s pennies that are in really good condition. You know, it's not hard, but it's kind of rare you find 1990s that look like they're 100 years old. you find 1992 pennies that look like they've been through a meat grinder, you know, so this is kind of how I classify my pennies, just a 10-year period. From 2010 and on, let me show you. I go with nothing but the best. So, I've listed, I labeled these ones shiny. These were the pennies that had almost no problems, zero flaws, fresh. I mean, came out of the mint 2019, 2020. The shiniest of the shiny. My camera doesn't do it justice, but every one of these pennies looks like it just freshly came out of the mint and doesn't have a problem or a thing wrong with them. And again, my thought process is, if I have them, then these aren't going to show up again in a penny roll, and I don't have to worry about sorting through all of these again. But look, I've got hundreds of dollars worth of just pennies, and these are the ones that I liked. Again, here's the ones I don't like. I didn't want those ones, and there's a lot. That's why I said don't worry about hoarding, just be a hoarder. Now, some people probably don't agree with that. That's fine. But one day, and here's probably what's going to happen. My kids will grow up after I pass away and be like, why did Dad keep all these pennies? Gosh dang it. What am I going to do with all this? I'm only hoping that they'll have the wherewithal to cherry pick them, find the ones that are very valuable, send them in to be graded, and make some money. It's kind of a retirement plan, really. So, that being said, let's look at some older ones. That's my newer penny collection. Here's my older. I have just 1940s. There's some steel cents in here. Oh gosh. 1950s. 1960s. And it's hard to find real good looking 1960s pennies, which is weird because I've got a shit ton of 1950s like mint state pennies. So that's weird. Then I just classified this bag as 1920 and earlier. Now, these guys, you very rarely find them in a penny roll, but occasionally you do. And I have. I've found 1917, 1919, 1920. And those are rare, but you can find them in penny rolls. And I find them and I keep them. Every single one. Basically, my rule of thumb is 1960 and older, I keep all of them. Now, there is some 1960s that are just trashed. There's no way that it would get graded. It would never meet anybody's expectations of a 1960 penny in any way, shape, or form, I toss those into my bucket. But that's my general rule of thumb. If I find a 1960s and older, I keep it. If I find 1970, I'm very choosy. Here's some 1930s. And that's it. I've got a whole bunch of older 1920s, but they're in, you know, coin holders, and they're in my special stack, my special safe with all my other valuable stuff. But again, I'm a hoarder, so you got 40s, 50s, 60s, 20s, and 30s. Anything earlier than 20, I keep all of that. So don't be scared to hoard. And that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching.